They will all keep growing. The one I want badly, but unfortunately my lawyers say can only be achieved through Albany legislation, is I want to end the single standardized test as the means of admission to the specialized schools. I think that's unbelievably backward. And first of all, no single standardized test should determine anyone's future. We should always use multiple measures. Second, look at Stuyvesant, 7% Black and Latino in a city that's over 55% Black and Latino combined. That makes no sense. So I want to get that changed in Albany. My job is to tell you the truth as I see it. Sometimes it will not be popular. Sometimes you may like it. But here's my true feeling. I don't think anything should be decided by a single test. When you think about the finest universities in this country, they do not make their decisions on who to accept based on a test. The test is one of many factors. They look at grades, they look at extracurricular activities, they look at essays, interviews. I don't think the best high schools in New York City that the entrance shouldn't be decided by a single test. I just don't. I also want to make sure that those high schools are available to every kind of New Yorker. And right now, unfortunately, that's just not the reality. So this decision can only be made by the state legislature. I will continue to ask the legislature to change the law so I can follow through on this vision of what I think would be a fairer system. But the goal here is not to reduce opportunity, it's to open up opportunity, and we intend to improve a lot of other high schools at the same time. Thank you. The city needs to come to grips with. Specialized schools like Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, Bronx Science, these are some of the very best schools, not only in this city, but anywhere. The only way you get into them by the current state law is you take a single test, and that's literally the only admissions ability is through one test. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it. I think, first of all, I do not believe in ever using high-stakes testing alone to make a decision of that magnitude that's going to change the entire future of a child. Some kids test really well. Some kids are brilliant and don't test well. That doesn't make them any less brilliant. And I always say, when you think about the universities in this country, the most renowned universities don't do their admissions by a single test. They look at grades, they look at extracurricular activities and essays and interviews and everything. So the system I would like to create is that kind of model, where you take a bunch of different, you take a number of different elements, and those are considered in the admission. That can only happen with state law. The city does not make that decision. The state legislature makes that decision. I am asking the state legislature to change. Honestly, they've not been willing to do it. So do I think it's going to change right away? No. Do I think it could change in the next few years? Yes. The final thing I want to say, this city, unlike the vast majority of cities, we have every kind of people represented here. Our communities of all different backgrounds are strong. We have a large Asian community, Latino community, African American community, white community. We have the whole spectrum. We don't have any one dominant community in New York City. We're made up of all people. But if you look at Stuyvesant High School, the last time I checked, it was only 7% Black and Latino. This city's well over 50% Black and Latino, but Stuyvesant High School was less than 7%. That's not representative. That's not fair. That's one example of why we have to change it.
Thank you, Mr.